Hey, welcome back. Let's get into Inventor. To get to Inventor, I'm going to come down to this search bar and I'm going to type Auto, A-U-T-O. And the first thing that should pop up is Autodesk Inventor Professional 2018. Let's go ahead and click on that. And then the next screen that pops up is your home screen for Inventor. Sometimes it takes a few seconds for it to load, just be patient. What we want to do in Inventor is we're going to create a new part. We'll talk about a lot of these other buttons later on, but let's just get started and start building something. To start a new part, I can just click this button right here. It might even say new part on your screen, but this is new part. If I click it once, I get to this blank grayish screen. This is our blank canvas we're going to draw on. In Inventor, just like in SketchUp, to create a part, you have to create a 2D image first, and then you push, pull, or extrude that shape. To start a 2D image, I come to the top left corner. The top left has most of our important stuff. I'm going to hit Start 2D Sketch, and you'll see these three planes come in. These are basically pieces of paper we can draw on. I'm going to click this bottom plane, the XZ plane, because that's the plane I would like to draw on. So just clicking once, the camera automatically rotates down. See how it's looking down from the top on that piece of paper, on that plane. What I'm going to do is create a rectangle. So I come to my rectangle tool up here, and I'm just going to make a rectangle. I click once, and then I start moving my mouse. I'm not clicking and dragging. I clicked once, and then I'll move my mouse down here, get it about where I want it. We could be very precise about this, but we're not going to be. And then click again, and you'll see this green square pop up. Once I finish my square, what I would like to do is finish this sketch. I'm done with this drawing. So I come to the top right where it says Finish Sketch, click once, and it brings me back to my home view. It's almost an isometric view. Now I want to push-pull this square. To do that, all I do is I use this Extrude button. Inventor doesn't use push-pull, it calls it Extrude. So if I click Extrude, you'll see that square automatically becomes a cube type thing. I can't see the whole thing, so I'm going to come over and hit this little house. That'll zoom out and give me a nice view of this square. Right now it's been extruded 1 inch. We can adjust that two ways. One is I can start typing in here. I can make it 0.5 inches. Or I can just click and drag on this arrow and get it about where I want it. Now it's just like a push-pull. In this case, I think we're going to leave it just about right there. We could make it 1 inch perfectly, but this looks good. And hit OK. Now I have this box. I think what I'd like to do is have a circle, a cylinder, coming off the face of this box. So to do that, I come back to 2D Sketch, and I'm just going to click the face of this box. This is my new drawing surface. This is where I want to draw my new sketch. So I click it once, camera automatically rotates there. Now it's a little too high on my screen, I want to bring it down. That's what this hand tool is for. Click the hand tool once, and it turns into this little hand. And I'm just going to click and bring it on down. Now this hand tool's still there. To get out of it, I can either hit right click, OK, or I could have just hit escape. Let's draw a circle on this. Come to my circle tool. Now I'm going to go where I think the center is. Now it does tell me right there is the middle of this line, and I could find the middle of this line, and I can find the center if I wanted to. So that is the center. Let's use that. I'm going to click once. I'm not clicking and dragging, just clicking once. Then I'm going to move my mouse till the circle fills up most of the square, maybe right about there, and click again. There's my circle. I'm done with this sketch, so I'll click Finish Sketch. To pull this out, I use the Extrude button. Click Extrude. Now, there's a lot of options up here, and we'll talk about some of these, but for right now, all I need to do is kind of click and drag this arrow to where I want it. You can make yours long, you can make yours short, it's up to you. I'm going to go to about right there. Once I have it where I want it, in this case it's 0.250 inches, I'll hit OK or Enter. There's my circle. Let's do a square on the top. go to Start 2D Sketch, click the top surface, camera automatically rotates, and I'll come back to my rectangle tool, click once, and drag to about where you want it. I'm not too worried about centering it in this case. Click again, and there's my square. Once I'm done, I can finish sketch, and I can extrude this square from the top. Hit extrude. It automatically knows that's what I want to extrude because that's the only sketch I haven't extruded yet. And in this case, I want to extrude it 0.5 inches. So I'll do 0.5 and hit OK. And there's my square. Notice these are all new surfaces I can draw on. So we could put another circle in this or another square here. What I'd like to do is to cut a triangular hole on this side. So what we'll do is we'll come to 2D Sketch, and I'll click this surface. Again, it's a little too high up, so I'll use this hand tool to bring it on down. And then I'll hit Escape to get out of the tool. Now I'm back to my arrow. And to make a triangle, I'm just going to use this line tool. And I'm going to make 3 lines. Click once, move my mouse, and I'm not going to be too precise here. Click again, there's my first line. And it's automatically drawing my second line. Get it to about where I want it, click again, and bring it up to the top. And I want to make sure it connects to this top one. Once that little circle turns green, I know it's at the very end of my first line. And I'll click one more time. Now that it's connected, notice it's not drawing lines anymore. But I'm still in this line tool. So we could draw more lines, but that's all I needed was a triangle. So let's finish sketch. And this time I want to extrude it in to the cube. Well, it's still the extrude button. Now there's 2 ways to do this. Again, I can drag this arrow out. I can also drag this arrow in. But it's sometimes hard to use that arrow, especially if you don't have a mouse. So instead of dragging it out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this second button where it says cut. If I click once, now it's going to cut out this shape. And I want to cut it, we'll say 0.25 inches. Now it's still coming out. I want it to go the other direction. If I want it to go the other direction, again, I can click and drag this arrow, or I can just hit direction 2. That automatically moves it in the other direction. Again, I use this cut tool, and then I switch directions with this tool. Switch it back out, switch it back in, and then hit OK. You don't have to switch it back out in it. That was a demonstration. Hit OK. Now we have a nice triangular hole here. If I want a better view, I can click and drag on this cube and kind of look at it from different angles. I can click directly on the side. I can click the top up here, and I can rotate this all different ways. And then to go back home, I just hit the house button. This is called a puzzle cube. You should add another shape on the other side. So to get to the other side, I'll click this guy. All I did is I hit that little corner. And we could make another shape over here. Make any shape that you want on this side. Once you're done, you're going to want to save your work. To save this, come to File, Save, and this screen's going to pop up. Now remember that folder we created before? We have to get to that folder. I'm going to hit this little arrow button all the way up, still clicking until I see Desktop. I'll double click Desktop, and I'll find My Inventor. Double click that, and we're going to call this Puzzle Cube. It's cube and it's like a puzzle. Then I want to put my initials. Be sure you always put your initials after your file name so I know whose is who. My initials are MDR. Puzzle Cube MDR. It's in the My Inventor folder, and save. If you need help, ask Mr. Raffles or your partner. Thanks. Have a good day.